Landscape diagrams, are they easily done in Blender? The answer is yes. Hello guys and welcome back. This is Architecture Topics, and in today's video, let me show you how to make this kind of diagram animation, and it's all done using Blender. The process is quite simple and noob friendly, so no worries. Just stick with me for the next 20 plus minutes and let us be done with it. So buckle up and let's go. This is the file for the scene I just showed you. I did separate each step into collections to keep the work smooth as possible, and that will also help you speed your work rate. And if you are a beginner, don't be overwhelmed. The scene made of only easy stuff and we will go through them one by one. So let us open a new Blender file and start this. With the default cube selected, hit N to change the cube dimensions to anything that works for you. I did make it around 16 by 14.5 for this scene, and the height can be around 1 meter, or 2, not that important. Now with this cube, we need to add some cuts to separate this area into zones containing the different parts from the street to the water path and the sidewalk. So I will hit Ctrl R to add a loop cut on this mesh, and use the snap with the moving tool to place it in the right distances. This area selected is for the water stream and it should be on a lower level than the rest, so I will add another loop cut horizontally on this mesh, and fix the water part by deleting the upper faces, then close it with bridge loop edges. In this part over the water we have a simple crossing area. To make it, let us add another cube in the scene, and scale it around to fit a wood bar size. We can also slice the upper edges by hitting Ctrl B. With that we can give it a big chamfer to the top area to make it smoother. Just remember to apply transformation by hitting Ctrl A in object mode. The apply transformation should be checked each time you have a problem working on a mesh, so keep that in mind. Now we can copy this piece couple of times along the water path to shape the crossing area. I will also add a cylinder near the bridge, scale it down to fit, then make it go along the bridge to the other side. To rotate this face by 90, we can use the spin tool, so highlight the face, select the spin tool. The cursor now works as a center for the spin, so place it right. I will also change the spin axis to match my direction, and just rotate the face while holding Ctrl. After that we can extend the last part after the spin and maybe use mirror on it to complete the shape. Here in this corner, let us add a new cube. This time we will make a stone part that goes along the water stream from both sides. Once you scale the cube to fit, let us copy it to the opposite sides couple of times. I will also add on the first one some cuts to empty the area in front of the bridge. Then once we delete the faces, we can hit F to close the gaps, and maybe chamfer the top edges like we did in the bridge. Now to make the opposite side look like this one, we can select them both and hit Ctrl L to transfer the object data. Let us also add an extra divider here to separate the bike lane from the sidewalk. I will copy the top face of the water path and separate it. This will work as water once we add the materials. Now that we are done with the modeling in general, let us go to the camera and lighting. Super easy for this scene. We will start by adding a camera and place it in our point of view, then change the resolution to make it more of a square framed, and you can go with whatever frame size you need. The camera and the mesh vertical lines are drifting apart, so I usually fix this by increasing the camera focal length to around 300, then zoom out until we start seeing the mesh. Once you placed the camera in the right position, let me change the timeline frame number to around 300 for the animation, cause we will start by animating this camera first. To do that, put the timeline on the first frame, then move the camera to a starting position, and hit I to add a keyframe on location, rotation and scale. After that, go to the last frame on the timeline, move the camera to another position, and hit I again to add the second keyframe. While those two keys selected on the timeline, hit the right mouse button and change the interpolation to linear. This will make the animation speed constant. We will render this scene with both Eevee and Cycles render engine, but just to keep it simple on the lighting, I will switch this to Cycles for now, and we will switch it back again later. First thing we will add for the lighting is an HDRI sky. I got this from Polyhaven, so you can get it from the link in the description down below. I also added a new plane under the main mesh to work as a ground and a shadow catching element. To rotate the sky, we can go to shading and switch the nodes to world mode. I also need couple of add-ons to be enabled, so check that as well. Hit Ctrl T on the sky node to add the mapping before it. This will allow us to rotate the sky easily on the Z-axis. After that, let us add a sun lamp, and make it cast from the same corner as the sky. I will give this sun around 2 in strength, and let us see how it looks. For the models part, I will start by adding the vegetation in the scene, so go to File, Link, and choose the tree file, then in the collection folder, import the different models from trees to bushes and flowers. The operation now is importing and placing. Try to keep with the link and don't use append, this way we keep controlling the file loads. Once you are done placing the models, switch to render mode to see how it looks. Here in this part, it should contain grass, and we will make it using hair particles, so let me take a copy from the top face, separate it from the mesh, then add to it a particle system, and put it on hair mode. The other options we need to fix are easy: change the hair length, fix the particle number to anything your device can handle. For me around 40k is enough. Finally check the advanced option box and use the Brownian value to make it look like grass. I did hide the emitter plane, but you can keep it since we will add the same material for both the grass particle and the mesh under it. Once we are done with the grass, let us hide it. This way we keep the scene light. Now to add some characters. The one I used are from Mixamo site and they comes with different kind of animations as FBX files, so go to File, Import, and select FBX, then import them one by one. I have 4 on my list, but you can add as many as you want in the scene. To fix the first one, and the process is simple, so pay attention, place it first on the ground level. We also need to repeat the animation since it works for a short number of frames. To do that, change the timeline to nonlinear animation. There, if you have a problem selecting the one character animation you need to work on, try to hide any other parts in the scene, or isolate the character. Now on this animation, we can hit this action arrow, then go to the side panel and repeat the action from the strip menu. After that, we can rotate and place the character at any starting point, and keyframe it on the location to make it look like walking. So go to first frame and hit I to add a location key, then do the same on the end frame, and change the interpolation to linear to keep the character speed constant. Once you are done, hide the armature part from both the viewport and final render. Let us again import a second character. This time we will animate it along a path, and make it cross the bridge. Add a curve path, then hit tab and move the points around to shape a curve around the corner. I will also move some of the points on the Z-axis near the bridge entrance. You can now switch to the nonlinear animation and repeat the character movement. After that, select the armature, then the curve, and hit Ctrl P to add a path constraint. In the armature path settings, change the forward axis to -y. Check the follow curve option. For the up axis, we need to experiment with it depending on the place, and for that, we need to press the animate path button first, then see what axis make the character move along the path. For us here it's the Z-axis, so select it, then I will fix the character position again to match the starting point of the curve. Another thing to pay attention to is the path direction. As we saw here, the character is moving from the other way, so to switch it, select the curve in edit mode, and with the right mouse button, hit switch direction. To make the walking rate slower, select the curve, and in the Path Animation tab, increase the frame number to around 3 or 4 hundredths. This will make it a bit more of walking rather than Tokyo Drift. After that we can fix the character place, and maybe increase the curve length a bit to make it look more natural. In the third character, the process is quite the same. Place it on the ground level, fix the position, repeat the movement from the nonlinear animation menu, and keyframe it along the road. One new thing we will do here is making the character pops out of nowhere. We do that using Boolean. So add a new mesh, and scale it around to contain the character. You can change the cube display to wire for better workflow. After that, select the character parts, then add to them a Boolean modifier, set the cube as a Boolean object, and put the solver on fast for smoother cut. You can after that link the same Boolean to any other parts you have. I will add here this floor guide thing on the sidewalk, and though it probably won't appear that much in the final render from the camera distance, it can add some contrast on the sidewalk. So using a simple cube, add some cuts to shape it around, then copy this piece with the array modifier along the sidewalk. So to not make it any longer, I did off-screen import the last character along with a car and a bird, all animated with the same keyframe and follow path method. The car we used are from the kit library, and I will show it to you in the material part, so just skip it for a minute. The bird download link is down in the description. One extra modeling to do is the street lamps, and though you can make it big ones, for my scene, I made it small like garden lamps, and spread them along the mesh. It's just a simple cube with cuts, again nothing fancy here. We can now select couple of faces and extrude them either toward inside or outside and give the mesh a bit of shape. The middle part will work as a light, so I will make another piece in front of it like a cage wires. Add to this part a wireframe modifier, then using Ctrl R, we can cut it around as we need. To switch the cut directions, I will poke all faces then switch them back to quads, and this is the result. I forgot to join the lamp parts before copying it, so let us fix the first one, then link the object data to the others. It won't take a second. For the materials part, easy as it gets. First with the water, I already have a water material that I use most of the times, so let me append it to the scene, and assign it to the water plane. In the node tree, select the last node and hit Ctrl T so we can animate the water movement or fake its movement at least. There are add-ons that we mentioned on the channel like the paint flow, which can allow you to easily animate fluids, so for us, using just 2 keyframes on the X location and we can make it look like the water is moving. Again, just a simple method and you can do it better with add-ons. The other materials we will use are from the kit library, so get the add-on for free, and enable it. Let me first show you the car that I used, and by click on it and drop it on the scene you can have it, just one click. Now to the materials, we will look for dirt or sand or anything that works as a base, and again, just click and drop to get it. To fix the texture, first apply transformation in object mode. Then in edit mode, hit U to unwrap it with cube projection. You can after that scale the texture from the mapping node. Once you are done with the base material, select any other faces, like this area to work as a street, and assign it to an empty slot. Then look for any street material and drop it on the area needed. For this one I will open a UV edit area and rotate the texture, then scale it around until it seems fit. For the biplane, same process, assign the faces to a new slot. And I will add the same street material we used, then mix it with a blue color. I will also use a bike PNG image as a plane to place it over the biplane. The same process goes for the sidewalk and the grass area. I did give some of the showing parts like the walk guide a yellow color, just a basic yellow, not a kit material. For the grass material, Assign it also to the particles we made, so it match the ground, and really that's it. If you have a nice characters, leave them be, but since the one we have are basics, I will give them a light emission material. You can go now and render this with both cycles and Eevee. I did render it with cycles on 800 samples and with double resolution. The render took around 30 minutes. For Eevee animation, just make another copy of the work file, and switch the render engine back to Eevee. I render this on 10 samples just to make it less than 10 seconds per frame. You also need to turn on those options that you see, and keep them on default. Put the color contrast on high, then assign to it an output folder if you want to render a PNG sequence, or go with the FFmpeg option to get a video directly. Put the encoding on high quality and hit render animation. You can also use light probes on Eevee to enhance your scene lights and reflections, and we did made a separate video on that. Will take you some extra 5 minutes, but the result are quite amazing, so go watch it now, and see you guys next time. Stay sharp, goodbye.